Hello, everyone. I'm Meredith Coleman McGee, the chair of Community Library of Mississippi and the host of the Jackson Book Festival 2022. We have an amazing set of vendors. We have books for all book lovers. And we also have a poetry contest this evening at 4 Central, 5 Eastern. And in honor of Black History Month, I want to say one Black History fact, and also I'm going to give a Black History quote. Uh, One fact is that Black History Month was established in February to honor the birthday months of Frederick Douglass and President Abraham Lincoln. And a lot of us always say, well, it's the shortest month, but it was picked because um, just to honor those two people. And I'm giving a Black History quote by one of my Black History heroes, which is my uncle, who was the first Black to go to the University of Mississippi in 1962. And his name is James Howard Meredith. And my first name is Meredith, the family surname. And the quote is, as I understand chess, you have to set the game up so you can win. James Howard Meredith, Ole Miss, 1962. And given that quote, I'd like to say, let's plan our moves. Thank you. Enjoy the festival. Vicky, you're next. I can't hear you.
Myself. Okay. I am Vicky Jenkins. I am from Jackson, Mississippi, and I am the co-president of the Community Library of Mississippi. And I am very thankful that everyone has signed up to come and be involved in the festival. And I hope it's fun and enjoyable and learning for everyone.
Thank you. William, did you do your quote, Vicky?
Oh, my quote. We were talking about my quote. Maya Angelou. I know how the cage bird sings.
Okay. William, are you ready? Thank you for tuning in online, and I hope that you just come and go whenever you please, even the people who I've sent a link to now. I know it's gonna be a long day, but I'm in it for the long haul, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm not gonna miss a beat.
Mhm.
And then November, when we did the day of Thanksgiving, um, it went by so fast we didn't even realize we missed lunch and all that. Me and Mary Hardy. You ready, William?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
I first met Ms. McGee in 2013, and we're working on a book I was preparing called Reverse Guilty Plea. And I was impressed by her knowledge of books and how it operates and everything. That this is the book industry. And I wrote 2 books, Reverse Guilty Plea and The New Populist Party. Y'all see that?
We just doing introductions now. We're not doing the vending part yet.
Okay. No, I was born in Laurel, Mississippi, and I lived in Clinton, Mississippi almost all my life. And I first got the idea of becoming an author in 2012. And I just needed somebody's to show me how you do the ins and outs of writing, you know. And my favorite quote is of Martin Luther King. He said, his "I have a dream" speech, where he dreamed for the day when men would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Thank you, William, and anybody else would go ahead.
And excuse me, I have one extra quote that everybody Meredith always gets on me because I always do this. Malcolm X, by any means necessary.
All right, everyone. My name is Dana Rice. I'm an author, and I will be sharing several quotes today from my books, which are a celebration of the wisdom of Black grandmothers. But for this introduction, I'll share a quote from Maya Angelou, and she said, "Listen carefully to what country people call mother wit. In those homely sayings are couched the collective wisdom of generations." Oh, and by the way, I'm in Metro Atlanta.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am LaDonna Marie. Today, I'm a vendor, and I'm from the lovely state of Mississippi. The quote that I have today is going to be by Dr. Maya Angelou as well, and it reads, "All great achievements require time." And so I'm an author of about 12 books, and I truly believe in that quote. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And so
Go ahead,
as
Vicky.
she comes to, I know how to catch bird sings.
Right. Okay, so we're the only ones with the we could go ahead and move to the vendors. I had it listed where it would be Dana Rice, LaDonna Marie, Community Library of Mississippi. Then I would do mine for Book Gallery 5. Then I would come back. I have two hats. I'm the author of 10 books. Then I'm a publisher of a small press. So I'm going to do those books that are not representing themselves here. And then Laretha Wallace, Malaysia Smith, William Tress, Mary Harding, and then American Quilts, which Vicky's going to do American Quilts. And American Quilts is, my mother is the last quilter in our family. And Vicky is going to present her quilt. She does quilts and baby quilts, totes, masks, and pillows. She sews them. So is that okay? If we keep that order? Dana Rice and LaDonna Marie. Okay, very good. So I'm gonna keep sharing the live link, and Miss Dana, it's you can go ahead and present your books.
Okay, how much time do we have?
15 minutes.
Okay, that's perfect. Awesome. So again, I'm Dana Rice. I am a singer-songwriter slash author. And so I combine all my passions, and today is no different. So I'll be sharing some thoughts from my first book, which is called "You Don't Want People Talking Under Your Dress." And it is practical tips and words of wisdom Grandma used to say. So I grew up with my grandmothers in Mississippi, and I spent a lot of time with other people who have grown up with their grandmothers in the South. And so I thought, we really need to preserve some of the mother wit sayings and just things they used to say every day. Because in talking to other people, I find that their grandmothers were saying some of the same things, but maybe they were in Georgia or maybe they were in North Carolina or someplace like that. So And then I'm a mom of two young adults. And at some point, I realized that I was found myself repeating the sayings that I grew up with, but they often didn't know what in the world I was talking about, just like I didn't know what in the world my grandmothers were talking about when I was a kid. So I thought, okay, we need sort of a resource that kind of bridges that generational gap so that the newer generations will understand this wisdom and be able to, apply it to their lives and to pass it on further. So that brought about this book, You Don't Want People Talking Under Your Dress. And the title comes from something that my grandmother on my father's side used to say. So my father has 3 daughters, no sons. And my grandmother had 3 sons and no daughters. So she would, as we, would grow up and, you get to that age where, the older people start saying, don't be fast and don't be acting mannish and things like that. And so one thing my grandmother would say is, you don't want people talking under your dress. And so that's what she would say to us, when it came to, dealing with men and boys, make sure that you carry yourself in a way that doesn't give people, negative things to say about you. So as I went through the different sayings that I was going to present in the book, that one was like, bam. Every time I shared different ones with people, they were like, that is the one. So I like to, kind of crowdsource the titles that I use for my books. I've written 3 books. 2 of them are the celebration of Black grandmothers, and another one is a coloring book for kids that's based off of one of my songs, which is called The World We Want. But today we're talking about You Don't Want People Talking Under Your Dress. And I'm just going to read a little bit from the intro. It gives you a little more of where this comes from and why I think this book is important. And then I'm going to share some of the sayings which I have put into a soundtrack. So there's the musician in me, and I love to bring you some words and music. So here we go. It says, growing up can be hard to do, especially if you're being raised by a Black woman in the South who speaks in riddles and parables as if it's the King's English. And this was my experience having grown up around my grandmothers in the sweltering heat of Mississippi. Sometimes they spoke with so much passion that the only thing hotter than their words was the summer sun. On most days, I wished my grandmothers would just say what they meant so I wouldn't have to walk around in a cloud of confusion. The truth, though, is that it was actually much better for them to speak in these riddles because when they told it to you straight, they didn't hold back at all. Let's just say you had to develop a really thick skin to be around them because, older people rarely have a filter. It would take many years for me to understand the wisdom and valuable life lessons within those riddles. My grandmother and her friends would always use them. But as I've grown to understand the important messages behind the odd sayings in this book, the only words that can adequately describe the feeling I get when I hear them is goodness and disrespect. And I hope that newer generations will discover that the simple yet profound wisdom of these sayings holds uncommon insight into many of life's most baffling situations. So today I am bringing you, You Don't Want People Talking Under Your Dress. Now, the grandmother that that saying is attributed to, she passed many years ago, but recently, like in the past month, my other grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she passed away too. So I am so thankful that I got the chance to share these books with my grandmother in her later years, and she was like proud of me for it. So here we go. I'm going to share some of the music, and please let me know if you can hear this clearly. The first saying that I'm going to share is get all you can, just don't can all you get.
Where's I've never heard devil. What does devil mean? Oh,
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Okay, I'm
yes.
gonna go
All
on mute.
you can, just don't can all you get. Baby, get all you can. Get all you can. All you just don't can all you get. All you can. Just don't can it all. Get all you can. Just don't can all you get. Oh, baby, get all you can. All you can. All you can. Just don't can it all.
All right, so that's Just Don't Can It All. And I hear Meredith saying you never heard that one before. um, that one is, are you saying wait? No, we're good.
I was trying to get you to explain what it meant.
Yeah, so that one is a saying that is actually from, I got it from one of my best friend's grandmother. And she would always say, get all you can, don't just can all you get. So you think about it is get all the money that you can make, make all the money you can make, get all the knowledge and the understanding, but don't throw it away. Make sure you use it for something good and that you have something to show for it when you're done. So get all you can, just don't can all you get. Yeah, so I say that I put that in the finance categories or the time categories. And I would like to hear, maybe if you have a saying that you remember your grandmother saying that was dealing with money or something related to getting all you can, but don't can all you get. If you think of that, then just, let me know because I would like to hear it. And any stories that come up, I'd like to hear those too. All right, this next one is users use and liars lie.
Users use and liars lie. That's what Grandma said. Users use and liars lie. Grandma always said. Users use and liars lie.
Users use and liars lie. It's one of those, grandma would just have to tell it to you straight. The world is a cruel place. It can be a cruel place. Not everybody's for you. And you need to, recognize the signs when people show you, who they are. Just go ahead and believe it because if someone's a user, that's all they're going to do is they're going to use you. And if they're a liar, they're going to lie. They lie because they're a liar. And we really can't just go, with the rose-colored glasses. We can't afford that. And I think that's important for us to really pass down to, our children and grandchildren, nieces, nephews, kids that we don't even know. They need to know this stuff. Users use and liars lie. And in the book, there's an image that goes with each of the sayings because there's so much. I thought about, how to transfer this information because everybody doesn't always remember all the words they read, but a lot of times we can remember a visual. So, well, this one is a hard head makes a soft behind. I hope I wasn't the only one that heard that. Those were some get scared. It was time to get scared and get right with God. Instead, all right, that makes a soft behind. I see LaDonna is a witness. Can I get another witness in the building? Meredith is a witness. Yes. Oh, I see Janice Vincent on here. That's my mother, y'all. And her mother is the one that, woo, when she started with that, a hard head makes a soft behind. You knew you better stop whatever it was you were doing. Get it right. So, a hard head makes a soft behind. And this book is available directly through me at danaricemusic.com. I have a few print copies, and the prints are regularly $15, and that it will include the shipping. Or it's available as a digital download as a Kindle on Amazon for $2.99. So you don't want people talking under your dress. I'm going to give you a couple more in the next 5 minutes. I'll just give you some of the titles, but I'm going to play a couple of more of these. There's users use, shortcuts, left hand, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That one. Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. That one, I was like, what in the world? Uh-oh. So you heard that one. Gwendolyn's heard that one before. I never heard that one until I think I was in graduate school, and my professor, who was a Black woman from the South, was saying that in class. And I was like, wait, whoa, what are you talking? I need you to speak in English. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But, you know, when you're getting rid of things in your life or in a situation, don't just throw it out. Some things are good. Keep that and just get rid of what you don't need. Like, so you wouldn't just throw the baby out because the water's dirty. You just throw the water out and keep the baby. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to play that one.
What you doing? Don't you know you gotta keep what keeps you growing? Don't throw that baby out with that bath water. What you doing? Don't you know you gotta keep what keeps you growing? Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. Baby out with the bath water. Don't throw it out. No, don't throw it out. Keep what's growing. You don't throw it out. Don't throw it out. Just throw the water out. Don't throw the baby out with the bath water.
Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. And so for the soundtrack, which is what we're listening to, I solicited the help of one of my friends who's a voice actor. Well, she acts for screen and stage as well. But her name is Rosalind Aaron, and she's a grandmother, a Black woman, not from the South, but has been living in the South for a while. And it was interesting to do this with her because a lot of the sayings she hadn't heard because she wasn't from the South. And she had some from the North there. I was like, ooh, I hadn't heard that. We're going to have to do another edition to celebrate the Black grandmothers in the North. But that is Don't Throw the Baby Out with the Bath Water. And if you want to hear, there's 15 sayings in this book and on this soundtrack. If you can hear all of these on my website for free, danaricemusic.com. And of course, anywhere that you're getting music, you can you can purchase or stream. And if you go on YouTube, there are videos that kind of visually show the music as well. And of course, the books, danaricemusic.com and Amazon has them. I'm going to close out with Talking Under Your Dress, since that's the title of the book. But before I do that, does anybody have a question? Did anybody think of a moment in time where you heard that, one of these sayings and it saved your life, saved you from a butt whipping or anything like that?
Yes, the one about a hard head makes a soft butt. I've heard grandma say that many times, so I learned how to be obedient and not get into as much trouble because I didn't want that soft butt part. So I've heard a couple of the sayings that you said. I'm going to be thinking about, see if I can jog my memory for some more. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think I wanted to be able to lift the voices of Black women, especially Black grandmothers, because a lot of other people have their bios everywhere. Their name is in lights, and our grandmothers and mothers are doing the heavy lifting in the home, but that doesn't get the recognition that it should. Without them, this world wouldn't be even standing. And so, the doctors are coming out because of things that these women have said and done. The lawyers are coming. The presidents are coming. The leadership is coming because of the things that these people have done and said. And I think their names need to be lifted up. So in this book, every saying that is mentioned that I know of a grandmother who said this, that woman's name is in here, and it will say her name and the state that she was raising her family in. So I'm going to close out with Talking Under Your Dress.
You don't want people talking under your dress. Don't want it, girl. You don't want people talking under your dress. You don't want it, don't want it, don't want talking under your dress. You don't want it, child. You don't want it, child. You don't want people talking under your dress.
So I'm going to leave you with that. You don't want people talking under your dress. And I hope that you think about that whenever you do anything with anyone, because people are going to talk. So you don't want them talking under something. You want them talking about what you came there to make them know about. So if it's your business, make sure that that's what they're talking about and not something negative that you don't want them to be saying. If it's your style, make sure that's what you get to choose what people, what you want people to talk about and highlight that. So you don't want people talking under your dress. It's on Amazon for $2.99. The digital copy, print copies are available if you just talk to me directly here or at danaricemusic.com. And the soundtrack, y'all gotta get that. You can hear that at danaricemusic.com, and you can also watch the videos on YouTube, Spotify, all of those places. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. And I heard most of those quotes growing up. And thank you for the introductions to some new ones. And also, I wanted to say, please put your how to buy it in the chat, and so that I could transfer it to Community Library Mississippi and the Jackson Book Festival Facebook page. And Gwendolyn Bell is our timekeeper, and we're doing 15 minutes. Gwen, can you do like a brief introduction, your name and your role in the festival and where you live? This is my childhood friend as well, and she volunteered. And we just gave her a contract to publish her first children's book. She's a JPS school teacher and the director of a ministry, a children's ministry. Go ahead, Gwen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gwen Bell. Like Meredith said, I am from Jackson. I'm here to be your timekeeper for this morning. I really enjoyed Miss Dana Rice, and I'm gonna look that book. I really enjoyed that. I'm a native of Jackson, a single mother of 3 sons, 1 adopted. Love them all. They got grown, left me, went to Texas. But I also have a nonprofit organization, which you can see is called Roadcat Ministries, reaching one community at a time. It's a summer reading program where we work with the youth throughout Jackson, helping them get those summer reading books read, summaries written up, and return to school and get a grade for it. We provide students with back to school supplies, uniforms, school supplies and uniform at no cost to the parents. And it's something we've been doing for quite a while now, and we love it. And that's it.
Yes. And you're competing in the poetry contest also. Anyway, so I want to thank everyone again for flying with us. Jackson Book Festival, sponsored by Community Library of Mississippi. And so Gwen, everybody has 15 minutes. And the next vendor is Miss LaDonna Marie, and she is the author of over a dozen books. Okay, it's yours, Miss Marie.
Thank you so much. First, again, let me say it's an honor to be here with all of you all today, and all of those who are out there listening. I am international multi-award winning author LaDonna Marie, CEO of nonprofit Planting Positive Seeds, single mom of 2 handsome boys, Landon and Lathan. I'm also a certified life coach and personal development coach. I'm an author of 12 books. I've self-published 12 of my own, and I've co-authored over 15. And so I love to empower and encourage other people because I'm also a survivor of attempted suicide at the age of 14. And so God saved my life then. And since that day, I've been helping people, reaching back through my books to help them to understand that they matter, understand that where you are is not where you will always be. And so I've been doing that for women and girls all over the world. My nonprofit is called Planting Positive Seeds. And so it does also cater to disenfranchised women and girls, and we help them community and global outreach. And then also with my books, I do a mentoring program called Resilient Queens. And so that's just a little bit about me. I have been a lover of words since the age of 14. When life was almost taken from me, God said, I need you to help to heal others. And so he said, I'm going to start with you first. And he said, the words that I give you to write, those words will help you to reach my other children. And so I started with a book called Expressions of the Mind, Body, and Soul. And that was my first book, which gave me a look at we're all connected. The way you think, your body, what you do, the actions, and your souls, your emotions, what you are consist of, because half of the things that we think are most of the things that we do. And so Expressions of the Mind, Body, and Soul was the first book. And I was so excited about it because it was my book baby. I had waited over 14 years to publish it, from teenage years all the way up into 2012. But it changed the trajectory of my life because once God gave me that first book, then all of the rest came. And so the first book that I want to highlight is the one who made me a game changer. Until Tomorrow Comes. It's the first book that I won, placed in the Paris Book Festival in 2014. And so Until Tomorrow Comes was the book that I took 2.5 years off from my writing because I wanted God to speak to me. And so Until Tomorrow Comes is a poetry book. However, it reads just like a fine-tuned novel. Once you pick it up, you won't want to put it down. It's a journey of growth and awareness. We all come through times in our life when we have to choose. We have to choose, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? How are we going to act? And I want to read the first poem. Most of the time, I don't have poems that are the same title as the book, but with Until Tomorrow Comes, I wanted to set the precedent of what people would be reading when they open up the book. And so I want to read the poem. It reads, Until Tomorrow Comes. It says, I will never apologize for who I am. I will never apologize for the goodness in me. I refuse to any longer be broken down by others. I have God on my side. I believe in myself. I'm not perfect, but I am a servant of the most highest God, fearfully and wonderfully made. Yes, I fall short, but I get back up again. I am who I am. It is in my nature to be kind. It is in my nature to love people. And as God has commanded me, first thought that I get when I'm around others is what can I do to help, as stated in Philippians 2:4. And until tomorrow comes, that's in our lives, until that press, until you're able to encourage yourself, until you're able to identify who and how, God made you and who he created you to be, press until tomorrow comes. I had to learn how not to be ashamed of who I was, because at the age of 14, I was one of those girls who God was talking to. But when I shared that with others, they mocked me, they rejected me, they said, no, he's not talking to you. And so that was the reason why I wanted to commit suicide. But when God saved my life, and he allowed me to go back and reach others through every one of these books, you can hear it through the titles of the names, because my goal is to reach one, teach one. And so I want to read another poem out of this book, because in the beginning, it tells you where we started. But I want to tell you how over the scope of time, where we end up as. And we're not a place. I want to just say, in this book, there are 5 different chapters. The first chapter is called Lost, because we know most of the time we're lost in some area of our life. The second part is called Lover's Scorn. There are a lot of us who get into relationships when we don't truly know who we are, and we try to define ourselves through family relationships, relationships between men and women, best friend relationships, and we just try to find out who we are. The next chapter is called Encouragement, because each and every one of us need to learn how to encourage ourselves, even when we don't have people around. And the next chapter is called Eyes Wide Open in Love. And the last chapter is called I've Arrived. And the I Arrived section is not a section where you're puffed up, but it's just now you recognize who you were created to be. And so this poem is called Qualities, and it reads, hello, self. I was wondering if I could talk to you about yourself. In life, certain qualities repeat and often are forgotten about. Difficult situations and mundane circumstances, or by chance happening, may alter the way in which your qualities are perceived. You see, I've watched you, and I've noticed your basic characteristics that make you uniquely you. The ones that you stand out, that make you stand out. And so I'll list a couple for you. Let me see. There's your unconditional love that makes a stranger feel at home, your loved ones comfortable, and your special someone feel validated. There's your loyalty that lasts a lifetime. There's your adventurous side, always ready for a new experience. Your heart that's warm, that dignifies, that you love and you care and you love deep. Your smile that brightens a weary day. Your positivity that shows your belief in optimism. Your sense of gratitude for all that you've accomplished, and which often returns back to help someone else. Your kind heart that never turns people away. Your active listening that helps you to lend an ear when others need to vent. Your leadership style, you're outspoken, respectful, and confident. Your passion that drives your determination. Your meekness that keeps you humble. Your attitude that has a little bit of sassiness. Your undenying search for love, which always allows you to wear your heart on your sleeve. And all in all, you are who you are. You are creatively and wonderfully made. And so that, my friends, is just 2 poems out of Until Tomorrow Comes. I want to move quickly to another book. This book is called Lessons, Shattered Pieces Being Restored. And I wrote this one for younger women, older women, and just for women in general, because there are many times when we don't know that we can be restored. As I alluded to earlier, sometimes we get stuck when we're in situations. And so these poems that God had given me wanted to reach all of those who are out there who are in those situations. And so the girls in the book are called Casey, Mandy, and Chantel. Each of them go through different situations. One of them is going through growing pains. Again, one of them is focusing on misconceptions of love. And the last one is saying enough is enough. And so when I wrote this book, the Lord wanted me to tell the people who would read them is that I see you. And I want to read this poem quickly. It says, as my poetic scribe are recognized, I recognize the flowing in my mind. For a minute moment in time, my thoughts are his thoughts, and God put them there to help me to realize. decoding a message that may be strong, but touches the minds and hearts of young men and women of God. His wondrous works we speak of and we live by and we learn from. We usually pattern our lives after. We imitate his walk and we keep our minds set on things above. I haven't been where you've been, but I see you. And God allows me to see the hurts and pains that you've gone through. I feel your pain. I cry and weep for you. Your heart needs to be healed from the wounds that you've been through. Abandoned kids, molested kids, and misused and misused. Generational family ties that bring cues of brokenness, neglect, and withdrawal. All children of God who just need a breakthrough. Seek a relationship with him because he loves you and he will cleanse your path and change your future and eradicate you. So in this book, it just helps your young ladies to meet them where they are. And oftentimes we have to do that. We have to meet each and every person where they are. I have many titles. I'm just going to give the title because I want to be cognizant of time. But I have another book that's called Lessons, Mirror Conversations, and it's just about Abby. She's looking into the mirror and she's talking about things that were never said because we want to build strong women out there. I also write for children. I have a book called Larry the Alligator Makes Friends, helping them to be assertive, persevere, and also learning how to pick good friends that have things similar to them and how to avoid bullies and peer pressure. And so Larry the Alligator. I am also a pastor, so I did talk about earlier. I have 2 devotionals, Quiet Moments with God 1 and Quiet Moments with God 2. The first one is 31 Days of Life Lessons, and the second one is Quiet Moments with God, 21 Days of Positive Inspiration. You can go on my website, which is www.ladonnamarie.org. I also have a CD called Conversations with God, and I thank you all for being here and listening to me in this moment. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Thank you so much, LaDonna. If someone on this Zoom wanted to buy the alligator book, would they go to the website? I just listed your website. Let's see. It says
So I put it in the group. It's www.ladonnamarie.org, and they can go to my website and I can make sure that they get a copy of it.
Okay. Say that I'm can you write it in the chat?
I can.
And
Yes,
that way
ma'am.
I'll take it and I already have it on. I just put it on Jackson Book Festival. I think I might have to put it on Community Library as well. So if anyone wants to get Dana Rice's book, her link is already here. It's also on both Facebook page, Community Library of Mississippi and Jackson Book Festival. Now, Dana, you have how many books do you have? You only presented one. Can you put the link to the other one in there as well in the chat and also on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if this comes out. Your link didn't turn blue for some reason, LaDonna.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm putting it in again.
Okay. So while they're doing that, Janice, can you just do a brief introduction before Vicky is gonna be the next vendor for Community Library of Mississippi? We have 2 educational books, a dictionary. I wrote them and they contributed, but we all of the proceeds for these 2 books goes to Community Library of Mississippi for our intellectual revolution. Okay, Ms. Janice, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, good morning. How is everybody?
Doing wonderful.
I really came out here today to listen and to watch, but I am, they say, Dr. Janice Neal Vincent. Of course, I am a retired university professor, having taught in the Midwest twice and having lived there 3 times, studied there 3 times. and retired from a southern state, Jackson State University. At present, I am oral historian of Scott Ford House Incorporated, which is involved in research on the Mississippi Granny Midwife, the person who left a legacy for many of us. I'm one, for instance, the last one of 4 children, 4 babies who were delivered by a Mississippi Granny Midwife. That has been an extremely good project for me in terms of collecting interviews last year in 4 different Mississippi regions. To just hear what the people have contributed has been wonderful. And to make a long story short about all of that, there is an exhibit that is coming up in June 17th and 18th at Smith Robertson Museum that will feature children who participated in an essay contest across the 4 regions regarding what they learned from things that were shared with them by the persons who talked about the Mississippi Granny Midwives and their contributions to their families and neighbors. I am also a journalist. I have covered Community Library Mississippi several times through the Mississippi Link newspaper. And of course, that has gone very well. Community has come back and shared some comments to me regarding the things that are happening here with Miss Meredith McGee and Community Library Mississippi. So this is a healthy, helpful type of venue. And I want to say that to all of those who are listening and watching. This is so crucial that Community Library Mississippi is doing, because the organization brings forth artists like you and me, and brings forth children to learn to read and to be challenged in the process to grow up and write their books. And I have seen some children come to Community Library Mississippi who have engaged in writing their books. And so this is a very good site, especially for the African-American child, because here we are now still in going back to when we first came over here. Our ancestors came over here to America. And of course, we never were meant to be enjoying all of the good things that we thus far, the roots of our ancestors, we are enjoying. And of course, we see here, even with an African-American president who came, and God blessed to be with America for 8 years in its trauma and upside down state. Then we came here with another one who said point blank, make America great again. And so what he was saying was, put us back in chains and we come out and we be the essential workers and do exactly what he, the dictator, wants us to do. I could go on and on and on, and many of you could join in with me with that nonsense. But I'm just so grateful for a site like this Community Library Mississippi. The Mississippi child is very important. And children all over the world are very important. So Community Library Mississippi needs to continue your endeavor and bring on, as you have been doing, the international scene that is so crucial to us today, because a little learning is a dangerous thing. And when we know the truth of a situation, we can be a better society. So we cannot afford, those of us who are alert, to give up. We must continue the fight because we are engaged in a lifelong fight despite our generations. And so we have to continue to fetch out and reach for the lost youth. And at the same time, hold on to the youth who have an understanding of where they need to go in life. A lot of young people, as you know, are raising their children, and they don't have any kind of idea of what I'm talking about in reference to ancestry. So it's our responsibility to help them to get with it. We cannot afford to escape. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said it well. We just have to do what we have to do. It's on our shoulders to help our communities grow and improve. Not they, not them, us. We are responsible. The others have gone on and closed their eyes and don't even want to come back here to a place like this. But since we are still here caught up in this, we are responsible for what we put out. That's every human being God continues to allow to breathe. We are responsible citizens in society. And so we are going to do what we need to do to make this world a better world. Because as James Baldwin and many of the others said in their writings, and this young lady and that young lady pointed out this morning, we have to be accountable. There's just no other way to put it. You know, I didn't even want to say all these things, but some kind of way, when we start speaking and it's making sense, it gets a hold of us. And so it got a hold of me. And I wanted to share what I have shared with you. I do understand that someone else is coming up to talk about her book. Is that right, Meredith?
Yes.
After
yes.
this introduction of who I am myself?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all of your wisdom. We appreciate you. Yes, we appreciate all
Thank
of
you.
the press and the articles, and I hope you're writing today.
We want to continue the relationship.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we have a great relationship because we published the second edition of her spoken word choir book, which I had never
Yes,
heard of a
that's
spoken
right.
word choir book. That's
Spoken
right.
word.
And I just put her information in a chat for anyone, and I also just put it on our Facebook page. And so Vicky is the next vendor. Then I'm going to be a vendor. And Mary, since you're here, can you give a brief introduction of yourself as well? And then you will be doing the book gallery after me. Vicky is next, Community Library, Mississippi, and then me, and then you, and we're all 15 minutes apiece. And Gwendolyn Bell is our timekeeper. Mary Hardy is she owns the only Black independent bookstore in the Mississippi Delta. Like, she can tell you how long, but anyway, I've had the best events as an author in Greenville, Mississippi that I've had anywhere, and I've been a lot of places. They lay it out. If you want to go to the book gallery to do an event, contact Mary Hardy, because the book gallery is the place to be if you're an author. Okay, and we're making history. When you pen a book, someone can read that book 100 years from now, for 50 years from now. It is the best way to preserve our stories, and we have to tell our stories. because we don't need nobody else to tell our stories about our grandmothers, our history, our families, anybody. We're the best one to put pen to paper. Okay, I'm presenting you, Mary Hardy. Thank you so much.
Well, I think Meredith has told my story. I don't know anything else to say, but I am Mary Hardy. I am a native of McGee, Mississippi, but I reside in the Delta and been in the Delta probably almost 40 years. I'm part owner of the book gallery in Greenville, Mississippi. We've been in business for 26 years on the same corner, 647 South Filbert Street, where we host book signings, we sell books, book club meetings, you name it, we try to do it, present it, to help bring culture to the area. We had a book signing a few weeks ago, and then there was a grandmother that brought her granddaughter, and the grandmother said that was the first book signing that she had attended, and she was probably as old as I am. So no matter what you do, sometimes it's always a first for someone. We specialize in African-American literature, but if there's something else you want, we can get it. I don't say, no, I don't have it, can't get it. If I can get it, I will get it for you. I am the author of 2 books, Uncle Hubbard and the Burlap Sack and Snippets of Truth. Which focuses on my mother, but has information about my daddy and my grandfather. So I'm hoping I can get through with that book this year. I do Moments with Mary on Mondays, and I started that when at the start of the pandemic. I'm a retired teacher, but I do some part-time work. So I was missing my students, and I started with Moments with Mary that I do on Monday evenings at 2:00. When I first started, I was trying to do it every day, and that was getting a bit hard. So I narrowed it to 3 days a week, and now it's just 1 day a week that I do Moments with Mary, and I do focus on literature, African-American literature during that time. We do have something coming up at the book gallery on Tuesday. We have a person by the name of Mr. John Jordan who will sign copies of his book from 2 to 5 on Tuesday. So, we are available if you want to come to the Mississippi Delta and have a book signing. Contact Mary Hardy, the book gallery.
Thank you, Mary.
Oh,
But I wanted to say just 2 other things. Mary Hardy and is in Lynette Stanford are over the Delta Book Festival, and the Delta Book Festival and the Jackson Book Festival have teamed up, and every year, the day after Thanksgiving, we do a joint festival called the Holiday Book Festival, and we do our poetry contest, and they have done 2 years in a row a spelling bee. But let me tell you, I had never participated in a spelling bee until we collaborated with Mary Hardy and Lynette Stanford. They're both educators in Greenville, and Mary Hardy is also a book collector and seller. But what I learned about the spelling bee is that it really increases a child's vocabulary, because we give the local children here the list of words, and if they're in first grade, the list is a little smaller, maybe a page, maybe 40 words or 50 words. But when you get to the fourth or fifth grade, the list is like 4 or 5 pages. So when a child even studies all of these words, it boosts their vocabulary. And now we give out cash prizes. So if you can in the future, tell anybody in your family about it, and please help us raise the money to give the children cash prizes and adults that are competing intellectually, because crime prevention, literacy and learning is crime prevention. And oh my God, crime is bad everywhere in our communities, all over. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that, and then Vicky is next. She's going to be representing now Community Library Mississippi, and we're going to start back on the time. Thank you all for your input and your contributions and sharing.
Hello, thank you for the introduction, Meredith, because I know I'm supposed to be the scheduler with the community library. I have my picture dictionary. Is the most celebrated books in the library, which is also written by Meredith. And a picture dictionary is an important reference book with over 300 words and images. Early learning appreciates in simplistic common sense and definitions. The book contains word maps, USA map, a map of the continent of Africa, the 7 continents in the world, and the images and names of the 46 US presidents, all incorporated in here. Now, there are 2 versions. There is a color version, which is what I'm showing now. There's a color version of it, Southback, and it is listed as $14.98, the color version, Southback. There is also a black and white version of the picture dictionary with considering the same information, the same. This is a black and white version of the picture dictionary, black and white, Southback, and it is listed as $5.98. Also, too, it comes up under that says my first book series, where Meredith has written a 6-box series of books from 1 to 5, an activity book of A to Z, activity book from H to P, activity book from all these different activity books from your, as I say, from A to B, from the words of A to B, and from book 1 to 5, activity book, activities from A to G activity book, book by H to P activity book, 10 to 11 activity book, 2 to 24 activity book, and Q to Z activity book. And all of these activities are words, drawing, picturing, and also to have some forms of doing ancestral. And we try to teach you how to trace your ancestors, trace your tree. And there is some information and some in order to see how to do to trace your ancestors. And it also includes geography information. This is a certificate of completion of each volume. All proceeds support the Community Library, Mississippi, and the Organization of Intellectual Revolution Agenda. My first book series, which is a 6-volume book, is also written by Meredith McGee, and it is listed in softcover from $11.98, ebook $2.99. The books can be purchased through Amazon and through etc. meredithecc.com. Thank you.
Okay, Vicky. Vicky has we changed the cover. You got that first proof. We changed this is the cover that you'll see on Amazon for my first book series.
Oh, well,
that's all right. This is
okay. The cover was changed. I just never mind.
I wanted to know that when they look for it, they won't see that. They'll see this cover. That's okay. But anyway, I wanted to see if Dana, could you play us some music for about 3 minutes to give us a time for us to shop, or if anybody wants to interact with one another to buy anything before we go to the next vendor. Okay. And I have put in the a chat how you can buy the picture dictionary, the hardback edition. If you want to get one from Community Library of Mississippi, you could just simply we have PayPal, we don't have Cash App, but if you have Cash App, you can send it to Meredith, etc., and I can give it to you. I just put my Cash App in there. Okay, Dana, do you have anything you can play for about 3 minutes so we can? Okay, you got it. Okay, then. Thank you. And we're gonna she's gonna play some music for, and then because it's something that I'm trying to get as well. We'll take
everything you know. Don't you tell everything you know. Keep them guessing. Yeah.
Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
You tell everything you know. Don't you tell it all. Keep on guessing. Yeah. Don't tell it all. No.
Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. The hour is later than you think.
Come on, don't delay. Come on.
The hour is later.
Time is
The hour is later than you think. The hour is later than you think.
Come on. What you doing? Don't you know you gotta keep what keeps you growing?
Don't throw that baby out with that fast water.
what you're doing. Don't you know you gotta keep what keeps you growing? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Baby out with the bathwater. Don't throw it out. No, don't throw it out. Keep what's growing. You, don't throw it out. Don't throw it out. Just throw the water out. Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. Ain't no sense like bone sense. Ain't no sense like bone sense. That's been true since forever. Ain't no sense like bone sense. That's been true since forever. Can't nobody tell you nothing, but one day you'll be wishing, wishing that somebody tell you something. Ain't no sense like no sense. That's been true since forever. Ain't no sense like no sense. That's been true since forever. You don't wanna listen. One day you'll be wishing, wishing. You don't wanna listen. One day you'll be wishing.
Oh, wait.
Don't let somebody else.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dana, for that. That is a beautiful studio.
Oh,
I
thank
can't
you.
wait to get in there. Okay, so I hope everybody get to shop, and I hope because people online have been asking how to buy it, and I'm continuing to share the links of how to buy, and you can help as well if you have a link that you would like to share on the Jackson Book Festival page and community library of Mississippi. Please do. I have shared a number of links already. So it's my time to then what time is it? Okay, so I guess I'll be done before what 12:30 Gwen, I guess. Anyway, I'm Meredith Coleman McGee, and I am the chair of Community Library of Mississippi and the event organizer for Jackson Book Festival. And I am also the author of 10 works and a book publisher, but I will be doing the other books later. So I guess I'm going to start at the beginning of my life as an author, which was Married to Sin. I co-authored this book with Darlene Collier. I'm just going to read a little bit, excerpt from her introduction. And we published this book 10 years ago. Let me introduce myself to you. My name is Darlene Collier. My maiden name is Jansler. I don't have a middle name, and I'm not quite sure why my parents chose the name Darlene. Sometimes people learn why they were given their name, but I was not quite that fortunate. My mother died when I was a little girl, and my father never discussed the reason for naming me Darlene. To my knowledge, I am the only Darlene in my extended family. Of course, the name Dansler was my father's name, which was his father's name, which was his father's name, which was his mother's master's name. I researched the information to trace my family back to slavery, but oral history only recalls my great grandfather, Moses Dansler, who was born 2 years after slavery ended. I am just going to be honest with you. I didn't know my paternal great grandfather's name until 2006. I discovered my paternal great great grandfather's name in 2011. Writing a book makes you discover the unknown, and the unknown is a good thing to dig up. Information is valuable. It is in the mind of an older relative, at the courthouse in deeds, in family Bibles, and in census and other government documents. Okay, so I was just trying to give a, a reading, a brief reading of Married to Sin. Um, it received 5 stars by the Library of Congress when it was cataloged for relevance in terms of um, history. And my second work is Odyssey. Of course, this is the second edition of Odyssey. This includes let's see, 228 pages. I think the original version, which I did in 2013, uh, was maybe 50 pages shorter. But anyway, this is my great grandmother. She was born 1874. She's the daughter of a white county judge. And I wrote one poem on her. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I mean, about a oral history that my grandmother described about the family being humiliated because the judge asked my uh, great aunt, I guess it's my great aunt, who was taking care of my great grandmother, to bring her to his law office so he could look at her through the window. And that's just an example of the kind of humiliation that we as Blacks had to face historically during the Jim Crow South. So the name of this piece, which I wrote in 1998, is An Imprisoned Man. From the walls of prison, I cried for my unborn child, and my cellie ignored me. From the walls of prison, I felt pity for my sins and those committed against me, and my cellie laughed at me. From the walls of prison, I gained knowledge of my heritage. Ain't that something? If my grandmother was a Choctaw Indian, where is the pottery in our family loot? Why are her people oppressed on a reservation? Why am I in prison? Why didn't my English grandfather leave some of the gold or the little house behind the mansion? Why did my grandfather peep at my mother through the window and never touch her pretty face? Where is my African father's castle, his royal estate? Why am I penniless? From the walls of prison, I became free, and my cellie adored me, the daughter of nobility. So I bought some Indian pottery for our family loot, earned me some dust and built a mansion, and I rode an elephant's back across my father's estate. From the walls of freedom, I became rich, and my cellie partnered with me, the Nubian queen, the seed of confusion. the black child from the East. And I really am a see the confusion in my mind because Choctaw, Cherokee Indian, Aztec Indian, Scottish Irish, English, Canadian, and the best African. So that's just one poem out of my collection. And I am dressed in character, like my Nashida character, which I created for my Nashida Visits. It's the Moses Meredith Cultural Arts book series named for my grandfather, Moses Arthur Meredith, known famously as Cap Meredith. My grandfather had a 5th grade education, and he stopped being a sharecropper in 1923, went to Merchants and Farmers Bank, which is now Renaissance Bank, which used to be M&F Bank. But anyway, and borrowed some money and bought 84 acres of land in rural Talent County. Now, mind you, my grandfather had a 5th grade education, but he was a math wizard. When he and his sons and family took that cotton to the cotton gin in the Talent County, Mississippi, my grandfather could add up how much money they supposed to give him before the white boys put it on a piece of paper. His mama was the first teacher in our family. Her father was a white judge who became a Supreme Court justice. The one thing he did was educated my great grandmother, who was born at the end of slavery, 1865, in Talent County, Mississippi. So she became a school teacher, but I don't know why. When she married, if they fired her. I don't know why, but that's all I know from oral history. But anyway, so the first Nashida book is Nashida Visits the Smith Robinson Museum, which is my favorite museum in the city of Jackson. If you ever come to the city of Jackson, you must go to the Smith Robinson Museum. It was the first public schools for colored folks in the state of Mississippi, 1894, created by a former slave who migrated here from, I think, Fayette, Alabama, which is close to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But anyway, my character, Nashida,